Yeah, and the clerk who pulled the trigger overnight told our crew that he's processing this shooting, that it happened quickly, and that he's thinking of the young man who was killed and his family. And if you take a look behind me, the family of that suspect showed up here in just the past hour. Very emotional as they set up this makeshift memorial of flowers, candles. They're all embracing each other. Now, police are in the early stages of this investigation while the store is still picking up the pieces. Today, crews replaced the front door and the register plexiglass of this Shell gas station in Auburn, hit by bullets overnight.
Oh, it's horrible. It's totally unsafe.
Police tell us the clerk shot and killed a 19-year-old during an attempted armed robbery before midnight off 2nd in Auburn.
We don't know if this person that was shot and killed was acting alone or if maybe they had help.
The store and police would not provide the surveillance video, and officers say it's too soon to know if the clerk is facing charges.
That's something I don't know at this time. Obviously, we'll gather all this information and then we'll ship it off to the prosecutor's office, and then that's a decision that they will then look into themselves.
A construction worker on a project next door says this is a dangerous area because of criminal activity next to the nearby grocery store.
There's drug use rampant over by Safeway. They steal converters. There's fights out there daily. It's terrible.
He's not surprised the clerk took matters into his own hands and says he and his co-workers feel like they're left to fend for themselves.
I think it's a good thing he defended himself. I mean, the cops can't do anything. They smoke crack right in front of them and they ride their bicycles right by. Eventually the citizens have to do something about it.
Officers say they're working to prevent these crimes with their designated patrol areas, including a community response team focused on downtown.
People are willing to do crazy things, and it doesn't really matter where it is or where they're doing it. People are just, that's why we're here.
Well, more than 2 years later, the victim told the jury she is still dealing with many issues related to the injuries she got from that shooting that day that forever changed her life. Body camera video from officers who responded to the mass shooting at 3rd and Pine in January 2020 shows first responders working to save Cindy Morningstar's life. Tuesday, jurors heard from Morningstar, who has intellectual and physical disabilities and uses a motorized wheelchair.
And then all of a sudden I heard, and got me.
According to first responders on scene checking her for gunshot wounds, Morningstar had been hit 4 times.
We have one down here, 4 gunshot wounds, 2 to the chest, 1 to the wrist.
Morningstar told the jury she was going to visit a friend near 3rd and Pine when she heard shooting and suddenly felt pain.
4 shots, 4 shots.
Prosecutors say Marquise Tolbert and William Tolliver were the ones who fired into the crowd of innocent bystanders, trying to target a rival gang member. 6 people were shot, including Morningstar, and 1 woman was killed just feet from where Morningstar was shot. Since that day, she's had more than 15 surgeries, and more than 2 years later, she's still recovering and feels pain from her injuries. She has 2 plates in her arm and must now use a colostomy bag.
What is still healing? My hernia, the weight on my stomach and my bowel.
We are staying on top of all of the results of Washington State's primary election. Here are some of the latest results in key races. In the Senate race, incumbent Patty Murray will face Republican challenger Tiffany Smiley in November. Murray is seeking her 6th term. Shortly after the first batch of results came in, the senator released a statement saying in part, quote, "I'm grateful for everyone who has supported my campaign and more determined than ever to be a strong voice for Washington's values and priorities." Another race on our radar is for Washington's Secretary of State. Republican Kim Wyman left the position last year to join the Biden administration. Right now, it appears that Democrat Steve Hobbs and nonpartisan party member Julie Anderson will face off in November.
And candidates are hoping to get a bump as more ballots are sorted today, but they don't have much to count on. KOMO's Lee Stoll is live with a look at voter turnout for the primary in Lee. It's quite low.
It is. It's not a surprise. Right now, less than 1 in 4 Washington voters are actually picking the candidates who are going to move forward from the primary, and that is very low. Now, we want to give you a live look at the King County Election Office. Pretty quiet right now. They are getting their first batch of ballots in the morning mail. That usually happens at about 6 o'clock, and then they're going to run those ballots through that massive sorting machine there. According to the latest numbers from the Secretary of State, King County is behind the state average for turnout at 20.8%. The state average is 21.8%. KOMO political analyst Ron Dotzauer says that turnout is nothing short but abysmal.
Voters are just not focused in the middle of August in Washington State. We either need to go back to a September date or we need to look at an earlier date when voters and children are in school and we're focusing on elections.
Now, the numbers right now lower than the turnout in 2018, the last similar cycle, and that's even with more first-time voters. Earlier this week, we told you 17-year-olds, they are getting ballots because if they're going to be 18 by the general election, a law was passed allowing them to vote basically for the first time. Now, in that age group, we took a look, less than 15% of them have returned their ballots so far.
All right, Lee, thank you. And we're also watching the race for Washington's 3rd congressional district. And as you can see here, it appears that this time incumbent Republican Jamie Herrera Beutler will face Democrat Marie Perez. Herrera Beutler is one of the 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach former President Donald Trump following the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol.
Mary, well, I got to tell you, it's all about economic recovery, right? It's about filling those empty spaces, like you said. It's exactly what happened right here behind me. And in fact, if I look around on this intersection, I can count 4 businesses that were empty. Those storefronts now filled. And get this, all 4 of them are BIPOC-owned businesses.
I got hot fish coming out. Come back to the community where my grandparents started this 35 years ago.
It's been a journey and a half to get here. Chef and owner Terrell Jackson lost his Skyway restaurant due to COVID.
Smoking out, there we go.
But hard work, community donations, good food, and securing a $100,000 grant from the city's tenant improvement fund has resurrected Jackson's Catfish Corner.
I got hot fries coming out. Well, now we're home.
Back to life and back to his roots in the Central District.
Every dollar counts for sure. Being a small black business at that, and coming back to the Central District where we belong, every dollar counts right now for sure.
I'm having catfish with potato salad, and it's very good.
There is more funding available, in all $1.9 million. When the Loan to Grant program began in 2019, it was a pilot project using coronavirus recovery funds. It's not only back, but has expanded thanks to federal funding. It's gone from helping about 8 businesses then to at least 20, possibly 30 this year.
We are going to be very, very intentional about building community, building small businesses. We employ from our communities.
This program removes a barrier to long-term success.
As a small business owner, Council Member Sarah Nelson knows for those who lease, getting a loan can be a challenge.
Oh no, yeah.
Lillian Rambis, owner of Simply Soul Food Shrimp and Grits Extraordinaire, knows that pain. Vulcan helped secure her lease, and the $100,000 from the city paid for every piece of kitchen equipment in her 2nd location, to open in mid-August in the Central District, like Jackson's Catfish Corner, right in the heart of the CD at Jackson and 26th.
Jackson's on Jackson's. Can't beat that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Preston Phillips from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and Western Washington. Oh, and don't forget to click the subscribe button below so you don't miss our YouTube updates.